How do you do, ladies and gentlemen? Duber here, and today we are playing Space Marine 2. And I am kickstarting a new series where I show you the ultimate build for each class in the game. And for this video, we are doing the ultimate build for the tactical. So I'm going to show you the perks and the kind of build that I go with and the weapons that I think are best. So in terms of weapons, obviously everyone has their own opinions, but I would stay away from the auto bolt rifle. I know I don't have it maxed out, but man, this thing just does not pump out enough damage. This gun, it has the grenade launcher variant, which is quite fun to use and is extremely helpful in tough situations. This gets a thumbs up from me. However, it does seem to run out of ammo fairly quickly, so do keep that in mind. This, in my opinion, would be the second best gun to go with, the heavy bolt rifle. It has so much ammo, has a good amount of firepower, and has really nice DPS to get out of those rough situations. This gun right here, the Stalker bolt rifle, this would be my personal pick here. It can 3 to 4 tap Majoris, even on absolute difficulty. And as you've seen, if you watched some of my previous Space Marine videos, this thing can kill a Neurothrope in 6 to 8 shots. I mean, if you are landing headshots, it really kills it quickly with the Auspex. The Bolt Carbine is not a bad option, but I just think it gets outclassed by the Stalker Bolt Rifle. Now, this gun I don't really get, because everyone seems to think it's one of the best picks, but I personally don't like it all that much. Sure, it has good firepower, decent accuracy. It runs out of ammo too quickly, and I don't think it does enough damage to be worth it. The Melter Rifle, in my opinion, is trash. Not enough ammo, doesn't do enough damage, enough said. I wouldn't use the Melter Rifle when you have the Pyre Blaster. The Pyre Blaster is not a bad choice and is good at melting bosses. You don't have to spend the time to aim for the head, which can be nice, but at the same time, it doesn't really seem to do that much damage. So, yeah, that's all I got for the primary weapon. So again, Stalker bolt rifle or heavy bolt rifle would be my picks. Secondary, it really is up to you. All of these are excellent choices. For this class, I'm going with a heavy bolt pistol, but plasma pistol is a great option with, in my opinion, the bolt pistol being the least effective here. The heavy bolt pistol is good for just one tapping the Minoris' heads, and plasma pistol is very good at getting contested health back along with doing good damage. But again, I will be using the heavy bolt pistol. I don't have this gun unlocked yet, but I have seen that this gun is very good. Now for melee, for tactical, I think it's an extremely obvious choice. I would not use a rinky-dinky little knife over a nice big chainsword. It has more range when you're trying to attack. It does more damage and has more cleaving potential. Moving on to perks, this will depend on your build, but I have found my favorite build to go all in with damage. So we have balanced distribution. Your primary weapon deals 10% more damage, but your secondary weapon deals 10% less damage. If you're going with the plasma gun, this would be the perk that you want to go with, but I am not, so I do not have it equipped. For the second perk, after a gun strike, range damage increases by 25%. This will be boosting your damage all the time because you are constantly going to be getting gun strikes. This is a not bad option to go with, but I feel it is not active as much as the other perk. For the third perk, I have steady aim, weapon spread, and recoil are reduced by 20%, and ranged damage against terminus level enemies is increased by 15%. That last part of the perk is extraordinarily helpful because when a terminus shows up, a whole bunch of stuff shows up. Extremis, Majoris, you need to get as much damage done as quickly as possible. A not bad option would be Emperor's Vengeance so that you're always good on ammo, but I will explain this later as to why I do not have this equipped. For the team perk, there's really two good options here. Secure Stockpile. Equipment charge is restored by 1 for all squad members. This is extraordinarily helpful if you have crack grenades or a melt-a-bomb, so this can be quite helpful. However, I find that the constant boost to range damage is more useful. For my gear perks, I have all of them put into the Auspex. The mark from Auspex scan lasts 8 seconds longer, but Auspex scan ignores Minoris level enemies. I find this to be quite helpful because you're never ever going to be bothering to Auspex Minoris. You're only ever going to do it against either Extremis or Terminus. That'll be your targets for the Auspex scan. This perk right here can be very useful. Enemies marked by Auspex scan take 75% more equipment damage. I had this equipped for quite a while. However, I noticed that it's really not as practical to try and get grenades off compared to just shooting it while you're dealing with everything else around you. Enemies marked by Auspex scan take an additional 75% damage, but the Auspex scan radius is reduced by 25%. As long as you don't suck when you're marking your Auspex, this perk is extraordinarily useful. An extra 75% damage is huge. Now this perk right here is probably the best perk for this class. Auspex scan zone lasts 60% longer, and enemies marked by Auspex scan take an additional 120% damage, but they lose the mark when they leave the scanned area. Now, this takes some practice to time it, to know when your enemies that you're trying to mark will not move for at least 4 to 5 seconds. Between these two perks, Auspex scan will do an additional 195% damage. That is an insane boost. Now, for the signature perk, I find that Marked for Death is by far the best. A headshot will instantly kill a Majoris or Extremis. This is extraordinarily helpful whenever there is a Biovore, because you all know that those are some tanky sons of... Yeah, they are so tanky. So to be able to just put an Auspex on it when it's way out there shooting mines and just one-tap its head is glorious. Now onto the prestige perks. Ammo reserve increases by 15%. Extremely helpful because ammo is always running out. Health increases by 15%. Also helpful because taking damage all the time is unavoidable. Medicae stims restore 40% more health. Again, extremely helpful. Don't have to use as many stims, and they don't appear as often in the higher difficulties. Each consecutive headshot increases headshot damage by 3% up to 15%. The bonus lasts 5 seconds without a headshot. For your automatic weapons, this becomes extremely powerful. And that is all the perks I have selected for tactical. These are what I think is best. Now let's move on to the gameplay. So we have just landed here on the first operation, and the reason I've selected this one because I want to show you guys how overpowered the Auspex scan is when a Terminus shows up. This map, I think, is the most common when it comes to Terminus showing up. There's pretty much a chance of a Terminus spawning at every spot on the map. So we're going to get the chance to really test our build here. So, as I was saying earlier, some of the perks I've selected for a very important reason. Most people think of this class as your all-rounder. Now, I thought that for a while as well. But I think that is a very dangerous way to take this class. If you start treating this class like how it really is, which is a glass cannon, you will do much better. So yeah, as you can see, we just put 3 shots into his head. Okay, so right now, we're dealing with bunch of Majoris and a Lictor. Well, Lictor's down now. So now we should be able to focus on the Neurothrope. And I want you guys to watch this. We're going to put an Auspex on him. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's gone. And that's all, folks. That's all it is. He is dead. He wasn't at full health, but it would have been just a few more shots and he would have been dead regardless. So that is how powerful our Auspex scan is, with the additional, basically 200% damage. I mean, it is just insane. So anyway, as I was saying, when you start to treat this class like what it truly is, which is a glass cannon, and you realize you need to kill your enemies faster than they kill you, then I found that this class became much, much more enjoyable. Playing it the other way just was not working for me, and once I used the Stalker Bolt Rifle, this class became honestly one of my favorites. It went from one of my most hated to one of my favorites. That's how much this change in play style changed this class for me. This is on absolute difficulty, by the way. Every game I play for this series is going to be on absolute difficulty, just to show you the absolute max these builds could be taken to. That's another thing with tactical. You really gotta focus fire Majoris if you're given the chance. Just because you will get chipped away so quickly by these little guys. So yeah, as you can see, even just a few moments, we were already getting chipped away. But he should be almost dead. So hopefully we'll fight a Terminus at the top of this elevator, because I'd way rather fight the Terminus here than at the very end area where you're constantly dealing with the waves of enemies. And it's another Neurotrope. Oh, that's stun lock combo right there. Why do I have to have both of them on me? That is so extremely lame. Hopefully I can kill one of these guys. There we go. We got out of the stun lock combo, which is good. Now I'm going to reload. Gotta wait a second. Need a clear moment. Put the Auspex on him and... oh. Let's finish that. Okay. I shot at the same time. So, yeah, there you guys go. I mean, that Neurotrope seriously did just get deleted. So, easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Another Lictor down. And there goes both of the Terminus. So what is normally an extreme hassle and takes, at least a few good minutes to deal with, we have simply dealt with in maybe a minute, if that. So, you guys can see how strong this build most definitely is. And now the rest of this operation is simply smooth sailing. Alright, well this operation went pretty smoothly. Our high DPS got us out of the rough situations when the Terminus spawned. And that is exactly what the build is for. Alright, well that's this operation done. We did quite well. Funnily enough, we got most melee damage. 0 incapacitations, most kills. Special kills, wow, he almost caught up to the sniper even though he was killing him left and right. Well, look at these stats, guys. Amazing. I will see you guys in the next operation. Well, we're here on the 6th operation. We've kind of loaded into the middle of it. I've actually loaded into the middle of the Terminus spawn. Oh yeah, and it's another Neurotrope. Well, you know how we deal with those. So let's get right to it. I always do my best to clear everything else so that I can constantly shoot him. Don't you... oh, he's still just barely inside the Auspex. And there we go. 13 rounds and he is out of here. And he was at full health, you guys, so that was all me. That just goes to show how powerful, again, this class can be. Fortunately, I'm still taking a lot of other damage. But the whole point of this class is, again, to out-DPM your opponents. Another Neurotrope. And we won't be able to see because we're outside with all this dust and stuff. The Neurotrope seems like it's a small ways away. It is not a small ways away, in fact, it is right here. Just give me clean line of sight. Get out of my face. Boom! There goes another Neurotrope. And that's both of the Terminus dealt with. Just out DPM that sniper. That's what I'm talking about, you guys. It's all about out DPMing your opponents. Let's see, can we kill a Zoanthrope? We can kill the Zoanthrope in 3 shots. Looks like our teammate is still in trouble. Just out DPM'd that sniper. Just killed that guy. Looks like our bulwark was dealing with the bulk of that spawn, as I was dealing with the Terminus. You guys didn't get to see what fighting in Carnifex was like with the Auspex. It's not nearly as quick, just because the Carnifex is constantly moving. He never stays in the Auspex. If you get a chance to Auspex him when you see that he's about to do his 3 to 5 second scream animation, I have gotten a good Auspex on that before, but it's pretty hard to get that off. So, against Carnifexes, the Auspex isn't really all that good. And Hellbrutes are pretty much the same. Hellbrutes are always moving. You pretty much never get to use your Auspex on that. So, with a Neurotrope, you can pretty much always get a good Auspex. And I'd say with Hellbrutes and Carnifexes, it's maybe 30% of the time you can get a good Auspex off. But I mean, even just a few seconds, 3 to 4 shots will still do a huge chunk of damage. Every time I see a Biovore and it's dug in, every time I one-tap it, think of that Thanos meme. Every single time, it never gets old to one-shot those stupid little turds. Most annoying enemy in the game. Let's deploy this Nova Warhead and finish the operation, shall we? Bunch of little guys here. Wow, that double. That was some... What the heck was that? Alright, will you guys just knock it off already? My goodness. The timing on their attacks was so annoying. And we will be using this. Let's see here. Another one. 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 Now we're out of those. Oh my. Get out of here. Whoa! Calm down there, buckaroo. There's no need for that. Are both Raveners on me right now? They are. That's not ideal. This is Stunlock City. I don't like being in Stunlock City. Nope. Come on, one of you gotta be low. There we go. That's one of them dealt with. Now we should be able to deal with the other one. What you gonna do, buddy? Nope. And there we go. Alright, well, fortunately, they didn't attack me at the exact same time, so we did not get caught in an extreme stun lock. But, man, I have been stun locked by a double Raveners. Let's get this thing going. For the Emperor. Another operation finished. Send in the Bigabooma. Boom. I timed that so perfectly. Let's go. Okay, so we got 25k ranged damage, no incapacitations, 1,300 melee damage. Our bulwark did pretty good on the melee damage. He was probably solo for most of it. So yeah, even though we joined halfway through the operation, we did quite good for ourselves. I am pleased with that. I'll see you guys on the battle barge. Alright, and there we have it, folks. Those are the two operations we have done today to test our build of the ultimate tactical. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you learned something. I hope this helped. This is Duber, and you have been watching DubeTube, and I hope to catch you all in the next one. Peace.